So welcome to the Maritime Startup Ecosystem Interviews, a series we created to give you even more exposure to startups of the Maritime Startup Ecosystem Network. Today we have Waël Chaib of Safecube. Safecube is developing physical tracking solutions for intercontinental shipments, thanks to an innovative IoT solution connected to the zero-G Sigfox network. So welcome, Waël. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
Hi. Good to have you here today. As I introduced you, you are doing some interesting thing with IoT. I would like to ask you, can you tell us something about yourself first and about your company? What is doing for in the maritime sector?
So at Safecube, we are developing IoT solution to better track intercontinental shipments. We started our business over a year ago, and we actually co-developed our solution with our first customer, Michelin. And now we are expanding our tracking solution for other industries. We currently have clients in the food and beverage industry, in the luxury industry, in the pharmaceutical industry, as actually better track and monitor international shipments is a common challenge for all international industries. And so in this difficult time, actually in the middle of this crisis, it's even more relevant actually, because as you can imagine, all the international trade is under a high level of stress with even more uncertainty than usual. So it's even more relevant now for our customer to stay on track and to have a good visibility on their logistics.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. This time is really putting a strain on all of us, but actually it's also representing a very interesting opportunity for most of the startups. And I keep hearing this from all the startups that we interviewed, and definitely it's a recurring pattern, which is good. Now I would like to ask you. So you mentioned a big client, Michelin, I think. So how's your relationship, well, with them, but in general with the big industrial players? How did you get in touch with them? Because I think this is interesting for other startups who want to work with large companies like that one. How can they really manage to get into such a giant by being a small like mouse, as we are?
So, Michelin was a bit special because they are clients, but they also worked on the co-development of the solution, and they are also one of our investors now. But I think what was key here in the relationship with Michelin and their level of involvement, their level of involvement is first that we've been able to directly have in contact the people that are taking decisions. So at that time, the supply chain VP, the global supply chain VP of Michelin, who was directly in charge of developing this solution with us. And second, what was also key in this relationship with Michelin is the fact that we focused all the time and from the beginning on the value creation, and we ended up developing an IoT solution, not because we wanted to develop an IoT solution, but because when we were focusing on the value creation we wanted to bring for Michelin, we ended up actually developing an IoT solution because that was the only way to be to meet the requirements, and being constantly focused on value creation was really key. And then it's the word of mouth, because now we are actually talking with other big corporations like for example Peugeot Citroën, because we've been able to connect their supply chain direction with the supply chain direction of Michelin and make them talk together, because they tend to trust much more your reference than you when you say yes, our solution is fitting your need. So it's something that we see that is developing even more now, the direction of big corporations discussing together. So we now encourage even more this type of behavior in order for us to actually develop our commercial activity.
Yeah. It's so as always, you need to develop your first client before the others will come, and they will come just because you are working with that big client.
Exactly.
What you said, I think, is interesting. Co-development and then investment. So it's very interesting, and sometimes it's one like really the changing factor is sometimes the ability for a startup that doesn't have any means to start working with a large company that is open-minded enough to see the value of co-developing something with the small guys, rather than saying like boldly and sometimes like with arrogance saying, we are better, we can copy them, we just look what they do and then we'll replicate it, which unfortunately we see happening sometimes with success sometimes, but most often with like as a failure, because a large company is not made to work and think like a startup. So they really have a great opportunity to bring in this capability of thinking like a startup and being able to develop fast and iterate, and if possible also pivot fast, much faster than them, or at all, something that they are not able to do, not even in 10 years. They cannot pivot in 10 years. It's very difficult, even 10 years, because I mean, we do whatever, tires, Michelin. What shall we do? Well, okay, we could do something else, but we won't do like satellites or whatever. So for a small company, for a small startup, it's much easier. And I think that you leverage that. You were, I guess, lucky that you had in front of you some very open-minded managers that opened up to you. So very good, very happy to hear that. So how's the business doing now? Now you say you develop with other clients. How are you doing your business development? And I would say, what expectations you have in terms of developing more business? Are you going out and reaching out to more clients, or you wait just for an organic growth through the contacts and the connections that we develop with the existing clients?
So we currently have one solution that is commercialized, that we are pushing commercially to new clients, and it's working pretty well on that front. What we are realizing is that there is also a need for extended tracking solution, not only relying on IoT, and that's something we're working on. So by this summer, we'll be able also to actually commercialize a full tracking solution with or without IoT for international shipments, and that's the one of the big achievement for us in the coming weeks, to be able to actually also commercialize that offer. And second, for next year, we are working to develop our solution on a new mode of transportation. And one key feedback we had from some of our prospects and clients is that they're also expecting this kind of solution for air freight, especially in the pharma industry, food and beverage industry. And we are currently working on that. And that's something we would like to develop for 2021, and that we're working on.
Yeah. Well, I now realize that we probably didn't explain super clearly what is that Safecube does for their clients in terms of tracking.
Yeah. So the solution that we are developing, that we are commercializing, is an end-to-end tracking solution relying on IoT. So basically, we track shipments from their departure warehouse to their final destination with near to real-time information on their position and on their transport condition. And by transport conditions, we're talking about temperature, humidity, shocks, container opening, that we're able to track and communicate in live during the shipment, so that our client can get can actually adapt their supply chain, monitor their critical shipments, and also have meaningful data to discuss with their logistic provider to be in a good position whenever there is an exception to manage.
Yeah, yeah. So they have, so you track all this information about the cargo, the shipment, and you provide this back in some kind sort of a dashboard or reports that they can use with their clients to show, look, yeah, with their clients, so that they can show, look, your cargo, your product is going this way. It's good. It's not being affected, or also for quality assurance to say that probably some temperature sensitive cargo has not been affected, and things like that. So insurance also, probably, all these things.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So our solution is available on a SaaS platform. So it's directly on a web platform that our client can directly connect and track their shipments. Of course, we're also opening our platform to EDI and API connections. But the idea is to provide an easy way for the client to directly check their shipments. And also, as you mentioned, we give an access to the clients of our clients, whether they are internal or external. For example, if you talk about Michelin, they ship tires for mines, for example, in the middle of Panama or Brazil or Russia. And what we are doing here is that we create accounts for the clients of Michelin so that they can also track directly through the platform their shipments. And that's a key differentiator in the way they serve their client that they're actually leveraging in order to create loyalty with this type of service.
Yeah, sure, because they are buying not only tires, they're buying tires that get there at the right time,
at the right moment,
and they know if there is anything, any delay or any change, they know it in time, so that they can react accordingly rather than just wait.
Exactly.
And hit. Absolutely, yeah. This is a great added value for any client's client. So, well, that's all great. It looks like now you have an infrastructure. I guess that as any startup, you require also some funding to run this stuff. So how's your funding, and if are you fundraising? What can you tell us about this? Remember, this is a public interview, so don't share confidential data, of course.
So so far we are in a good position to develop our business in terms of cash, and even with the current crisis, we are able to adapt our spending in order to continue our development while maintaining a positive cash flow, and that's great to be in that kind of position. And secondly, as part of our plan in terms of development, we are looking potentially at raising funds next year if we develop this new solution for new mode of transportation. So that's something we're working on, that we might potentially accelerate starting this summer, depending on our business plan for the coming years on those new mode of transportation.
Yeah. So who would be the target investor for you to raise from? What's the profile of the target investor? How much are they investing? What kind of company are they focusing on? Seed? Are they focusing on Series A? Are they industry experts? What you're looking for in an investor?
So it will be more of a Series A investment round for the next one, and in terms of scale. And second, we are indeed looking at potential partners that have some key industries that have key interest in our solution. We are now proud to have in our board companies and investors that have a key expertise that we are actually leveraging, and we would like to develop this kind of this type of relationship with our future investors.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Again, I hear it very often from startups, but it's pretty obvious when you are at a stage where you are developing already a customer base. You want to have an investor which is not just a financial investor, but which is also a adding value in terms of like bringing smart money and connections and industry expertise and knowledge, so that it really can accelerate your growth. And well, I wish that you'll be able to find this. Where are you based at the moment? So where would be the investor located, or in general, are you based in one particular region, or do you look for global investors? How does it work?
We are looking at investors, European investors. So our business is by nature international, of course.
Yeah, of course.
We have now an activity that is across the 5 continents. However, we are attached to our French roots, but we are also European and not only French. And we would love to be able to find like regional investors in Europe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think it's good to know, and it's also the purpose of these interviews to give you exposure, but also to tell potential interested parties what you're looking for, so that there's no point if there is not an obvious match. But now, I think that is there anything else that you would like to tell the audience in terms of what you're doing, what you want to do, what you're looking for? Because I think it's the right arena or place to give this kind of message. Also, as I said before, considering that this is a public place, so don't share terribly private information.
Well, we've been discussing the main points, whether it's about the solution, about our business plan for the future, and also the fact that in this uncertain time, it's even more relevant now to actually better control the logistic and the operation. So I think you asked the right question. So nothing really to add on my side, and I want to thank you for your time and your questions.
Oh, well, absolutely. It's totally my pleasure, our pleasure. Thank you for being with us, and stay safe in these times. And go ahead, keep doing it, because you're doing great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers, bye.